I'll make the motion that we reconvene as the Board of Commissioners.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on with item number 21, public hearing on the proposed 2021 budget. Do we need Seth to present it again?
Yeah, well, I think I would recommend he give an overview of the
A brief
proposed
overview.
budget
Okay.
and hit some of those highlights, and especially if there's been changes from the
the
tentative budget to this new version, he ought to cover those.
Okay. Seth, you want to take that?
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't bring up the sheet that I had last time, but I'll hit some of the highlights that I have here with the budget in hand. There's been no changes from the tentative budget that was approved to this final budget that is before you today. And the the minutes probably from our last meeting is a good reference for anybody that would like to see a comprehensive overview. Or as I mentioned before, you can get a copy of the budget in our office. So previously we went fund by fund and talked about the difference between our 2020 budget and our 2021 proposed or tentative budget. So maybe to review those, our 2020 budget for our Fund 10, which is our general fund, and houses most of the departments in the county. The budget was reduced from 14.4 million to 13.8 million for 2021. Our Fund 15, which is our travel and tourism, stayed the same from 2020 to 2021 at $572,000 for their budget. Our carbon rec or leisure services Fund 19 was reduced by $8,700 from $568,700 to $560,000 for 2021. Our Fund 20, which is our municipal services fund, it has planning and zoning, building inspection, sheriff's department, road department, and animal control. Their 2020 budget, sorry, don't have sticky enough hands. There was a small reduction. Their 2020 budget is $6,881,000, and that was reduced to $6,852,000. So there's about a $30,000 reduction there. Our Fund 24, which is our Council on Aging, our Senior Center, there was an increase from $253,800 to $273,300, and some of that was in anticipation of the increased costs that we've had with COVID. There was some small increases there for Meals on Wheels and whatnot. Same thing with our Fund 25, which is our Senior Center nutrition program. The budget for 2020 is $572,000. It was reduced to $562,200 for 2021. Our Fund 26, which is our event center and fairgrounds, the budget was reduced from $567,400 down to $502,400. So that's a reduction of $65,000 year over year. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was one of our employees that left out there, and we've chosen to try to operate without that employee for next year. So that's a lot of the reduction there. Our Fund 28, which is our economic development, their budget in 2020 is $151,310. It was reduced, or I'm sorry, there was an increase to $180,350. Some of that is due to an increase in revenue that we receive through a rural economic grants, kind of a newer program that the state is doing. So we have a little bit of an increase in funding there. Our Fund 29, which is our 911 emergency telephone, remain the same at $4,000. That's generally what's needed for administrative fees. Our Fund 45, which are capital projects, there was a significant increase from $15,000 in 2020 to $265,000 in 2021. That increase is due to an estimated cost of $250,000 to completely replace the gel roof. Something that's past its time and definitely needs a re-roof there. Fund 54, which is the airport, our 2020 budget is $164,000. It was reduced to $153,000 for 2021. That's due to savings seen in utility costs, some changing of lighting and whatnot. Our Fund 55, which is the 7th District, our county court complex, there was an increase. The 2020 budget is $130,000. It's increased to $1,069,000 for next year, and that change, as we discussed last meeting, is due to our auditors requesting that we move the rent revenue from the 7th District Court and the bond payments to Fund 55, which is a proprietary or business type fund instead of a governmental fund. And then finally our Fund 56, which is our county MBA. We saw a decrease because of that same move. Our 2020 budget for Fund 56 is $2,839,500. It was reduced to $1,964,500. And again, it's the same cause there, the changing of the revenue, rental revenue, and the bond payments to Fund 55 for 7th District Court. And those are the main highlights. If there's any questions or anything.
Commissioners, do you have any questions or any thoughts that you have?
I don't have any questions, and as far as thoughts go, I just we've wrestled with this budget and reduced everywhere we can, and we think we have a balance that will help get us through the next few years where the mineral lease money is dropped, and hopefully we see some increase in growth in our community in taxes that will help offset things and make it a little bit more comfortable. But this is a pretty bare bone slice to operate on, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, me either. I don't have any questions, but looking at this budget, I feel the same way. We've tried to trim where we can, where it's reasonable, without sacrificing any services. The outlook for this area is good. We have a lot of interest in this area. We have new houses going up. We have a couple businesses that are expanding and developing. You know, we're changing away from what we're accustomed to, which is a little bit scary for a lot of folks. Some businesses have had to, you know, kind of redecide what they want to be and how they can, you know, still make a profit and keep people employed. So it's been a learning curve, not only for businesses here, but for the county and what we have to do. So I'm confident with this budget as well. I think it serves us well moving into the next year. As Seth said, we have had some people leave and take retirements, and we have not chosen to fill their positions. So we've saved where we could, but I think we have better days coming in front of us, and we have a good team. I like how we can discuss things between commission, and we don't agree on everything, but we come to a resolution that's best for the community and not self-serving. So I like our direction going forward. I think it's going to be strong.
Thank you. I don't know that I have anything to add, so we'll open up this public hearing at 6:10. Anybody that would like to speak to this, please come to the mic, state your name for the record, and go ahead and leave your public comment. Last chance. There's two of you here.
We'll let him arm wrestle. Who gets to talk first?
My name is Sam Brown, and I can see we are heading in a good direction. We need to work within our budget. It's obvious our budget is going to decrease dramatically with our mineral leases and whatnot. Tax increases aren't the answer. We need to look at other ways to develop new revenue, which it sounds like we're in the process of doing. I appreciate the work you guys do, I really do, but we need to be very frugal. Things aren't going to get better. We've got to be able to live within, we have to work like a household. We have to live within the budget that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Ralph Hardman, the way I tried to put those figures together, we got a balanced budget from last year. Is that about right? Or are we increased it, or are we under it?
How would you put that? We're under last year, but
Well,
we're still.
that's a great question. I think the simple answer is that our budget expenses are significantly less than last year, and our budget is balanced because we're required to have it budget or balanced. The small issue is that to balance it, we have to take money out of reserve, which is unfortunate, but it's a smaller amount, so we're still looking good.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Is budget's lower?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And like Seth pointed out, part of the big, one of the big things that drove the using of savings was the jail re-roof. That was a big cost that obviously we have to keep up on our maintenance, but that wasn't something that we were looking forward to in this budget. So thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak to this? I don't see anybody else, but we have other people in the room. Seeing no one else, we'll close this public hearing at 6:13. Commissioners, we'll move on to item number 22, consideration and possible approval of the 2021 budget.
No comments.
I would like to make a comment too, and I think that we are being pretty frugal. I think that's kind of not only in what we do here, but just our own personal lives. One thing that I like to mention too that kind of gets forgotten about is that we have 20 projects, 20 things that we have to pay for that none of us voted for. None of us have added new buildings, new debt to the community. But you know, it's kind of like we're here to clean up after the party. You know, it's everybody's had some fun, everybody's spent a lot of money, but now that revenue's disappeared, we're tasked to clean it up, to have a balanced budget as is required. A lot of people cast blame at us because we're here, which is fine, but realize that we are not the ones that created the debt. We are the ones that are trying to get us out of debt. And we don't want to close any services. We want to attract people. We want to have more families move in this area, more businesses move in this area. If we have things that are open, roads that are cleaned and maintained, things for these families and their kids to do once they get here, the more families, the more businesses we get in here, that's more tax revenue for our community. So that's our end goal here. And again, I can't say it enough, proud to be working with the team that we have here. All the elected officials have just been great. So it seems like we're all moving towards the same goal and not fighting and bickering too much to get there. So appreciate everybody for that.
Yeah, thanks, Tony, for, you're a great partner in working together here too. I maybe just one last comment is that for those of you concerned about the budget, I want you to know we're looking way down the road in where we'll be in 5 and 10 years, whether we're here or not. But our approach is to make sure we don't hit a cliff out there in 4 or 5 years where there is no money and we literally have to cut a ton of stuff off. So we're trying to balance that, leaving senior services and some of the recreation things that are going on that create a quality of life for all of our residents. And everybody has their thing they want, and they can always find other stuff they'd like to cut. It's pretty easy, but when you look at the county as a whole, there's been a lot of trimming going on for quite a few years, and we're running very lean and mean, and we're working hard to make sure productivity is good. And I think as our staffs and the elected officials, I'll echo Tony's remarks, they're doing a really, really good job. And there's a good cooperation not only amongst our county employees and elected officials, but with the cities and other counties as well, that we're all working together to make Carbon, Emery County, a place that we can stay here and our kids can stay. So this is not a short-sighted budget. This is projected way out there in our minds, and we're gambling a little with taking some money out of reserves, but we think we're going to be able to make it up before we hit a bad problem. So.
Boy, you guys didn't leave me much to say. So I just want to point out projects like Intermountain Electronics are those things that we're banking on as we help our local companies grow with different incentives, or the solar plant that will come into our area next year. Those are the things that are going to start filling the revenue hole, that so we don't have to eat from our reserves. And as we continue to bring in those types of businesses or help our local businesses grow and expand, those are the things that are going to make us successful, and it takes all of us as a community to do that. So thank you to the community and everybody that's been taking part, and mainly a big part of that is the county employees for buying in and doing their part. You may not think it makes a big difference, but everybody turning off their lights and not just letting them burn and do just the little things has made a big difference in our budget this year. So thank you to everyone. With that, do we have an approval of our 2021 budget?
Go ahead, Tony.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2021 budget.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
We are adjourned. Buckle up and drive safe.